on the nation station, Oman FM. Now, I did say we'd get to meet a very interesting guest, and we have online with us Dr. Abdullah Al Abri. He is the Executive Director of Ejad, and we're going to be talking about a very interesting subject. Good evening to you, Dr. Abdullah.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for inviting me to be part of the show.
It is always our pleasure to talk to such interesting people.
Thank you.
Now, we're talking today about the Oman Hydrogen Economy Strategy. Right?
Yeah.
Now, hydrogen, as I understand, is a low-carbon fuel.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, true, yes.
Okay. So please enlighten us on exactly what this hydrogen economy strategy is.
Thank you so much. And before I talk about the strategy itself, I want to just shed some light into the importance of this move. Oman has long been so reliant on the petrodollars
Yes.
to drive the strong social and economic developments across the country for the past decades. Now, the main players in Oman, and I say this, talking about the government and the industry, has long been looking for some diversification opportunities.
Right.
And we've been working with some of the stakeholders to see what's the potential of renewables as a low carbon, initiatives for Oman.
Okay.
So renewables includes the solar panels, the solar, the wind, and few others.
Okay.
So in the renewables, we've looked into how can we substitute, for example, some of the processes that we have in Oman, in the industries,
Yes.
to use, solars, renewables, a combination, for example, steam generation, heat substitution, or hydrogen.
Okay.
Now, we've mapped out all the opportunities and the opportunity size, and it's happened to be humongous. So we're talking about gigawatts in terms of potential,
Okay.
and that's billions of dollars.
Wow.
Now, deep diving into the hydrogen is a very clean source. Oman is blessed with an abundance of solar irradiation. It's, in fact, one of the most suited countries in the world.
Okay.
We see it as the new oil and gas. We've done simple studies on how can we create the same dollars that we create from oil and gas today,
Right.
but in 2040.
Yes.
And we've seen that if we use 2%, only 2% of Oman's land, and I call it all the time, this is a hydrodokum, so a dokum area,
Okay.
but it's hydrogen, that will create us the same dollars from oil and gas. So
But-
that's the opportunity size we're talking about.
Okay. But Dr.
Now-
Abdullah, how cost effective is it?
It's so much, if we're talking about economy, so the big scale, that's already in the money.
Okay.
So driven by many factors, the whole world is moving into this. Talking about pilots, for example, if it's pilot inside PDO or OQ or somewhere else,
Right.
then it might not be in the money today,
Okay.
but it's going to be in 3-4 years down the line.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. What are the advantages and disadvantages of using hydrogen?
So the advantages is moving away from oil and gas.
Okay.
So saving that oil and gas that we have today
Yes.
and creating new opportunities, new jobs, new industries. Then we could use, the hydrogen to power up our, houses, to power up our offices, substitute some of the processes in industry today. So it's a new economy, A, and B, it's a new employment sector,
Okay.
and C is moving on into the technology front. So this is a new technology, so it has a lot of technology aspects, research and development, has a lot of technology integration opportunities. So bringing those expertise to Oman, with the whole definition of the, of the transfer, so technology transfer, knowledge transfer, and everything else, that creates and stimulates the whole ecosystem.
Okay. Talking of the ecosystem, how environmentally friendly is it? Does it produce harmful emissions?
It's very environmental friendly. So back to the advantages, very environmental friendly. Is just splitting the water.
Okay.
We produce a lot of water from the oil and gas operations today.
Right.
So we could use that water to generate hydrogen. It's very environmental friendly. The disadvantages is, or maybe the things that we need to take control of, is making that business safe. So a little bit away from the residential places, from the accumulations, for example, of of water if we need to use the underground storage.
Yeah.
But that all can be managed.
Okay. So are we talking about moving towards replacing petrol in vehicles? How versatile is it? In which sectors can it be used?
It can be used in transportation, for example, in hydrogen-powered cars and vehicles. Now we have hydrogen-powered vessels in the sea, so it can be used in the transportation, in the power generation, in storage. Hydrogen is a very good storage medium. Now, the disadvantage of renewables, as talking about solar and wind,
yes,
you need expensive storage places. Hydrogen can be, the power generated from renewables can be stored as hydrogen.
Right.
It's a very interesting storage medium. It's environmental friendly. It can be used to generate chemicals, for example.
Okay.
It can be used to generate steam. So in water desalination, in EOR, so enhanced oil recovery processes, we can use the hydrogen in generating electricity. So blending the hydrogen with the natural gas, and then we can use it in gas turbines to power up, the houses and electricity. So many usages.
Are there other countries already using it?
Yes. Today there exists. Japan is already importing some of the hydrogen from Australia, and Japan is seriously interested to make partnerships with Oman, for example, as one of the strategic countries to import hydrogen from.
Okay.
Germany is transforming into this. Australia, Chile, Denmark. We have Belgium. So many countries around the world are really eyeing hydrogen as the new energy source.
Is it an expensive fuel? We're talking about, what do you need? You need a lot of energy.
Yeah, so you need some energy to produce the hydrogen.
Yes.
So, and that energy can be renewable, can be tied up with the solar and wind.
Okay.
So it's all environmental ecosystem. So the hydrogen can be generated. Of course, you need it to be transferred in some form. If it's electricity, for example, to put in electric vehicles, then you need some transmission lines and maybe some charging stations.
Okay. I was just reading somewhere, that hydrogen and energy powered the first internal combustion engines more than 200 years ago.
Yes. It's a very powerful energy source. Now it's currently used in Germany, for example, to drive trains.
Okay.
So they convert the hydrogen to energy,
right,
to electricity, and of course it drives the train. They use it elsewhere to produce chemicals. We produce hydrogen in Oman, but we use the conventional methodology, which is to crack the natural gas.
Okay.
We use it in refineries. We use it in the fertilizer production. We use it in the free zones. So we are producing hydrogen. We know how to produce hydrogen.
Right.
It's just that how we switch the conventional methodologies to more of a sustainable, renewable.
So at what stage is it right now? How long can we, ahead, looking down the line, how long can we expect it to take for it to be put into use?
So as EJAD, we're currently working or coordinating the efforts on behalf of the Ministry of Oil and Gas to produce a national hydrogen strategy.
Okay.
That strategy will, look at the full value chain from the markets. So when we talk about markets, are we eyeing, for example, hydrogen as hydrogen, or maybe chemicals, or maybe ammonia, or maybe something else?
All right.
We're looking at the markets in Oman, regional and international, and then planning the whole way back. So markets, and then we have midstream. How do we transport the hydrogen, for example? How do we convert the hydrogen to products? And the upstream. How do we produce it? What's the capacity?
Right.
And what do we need to have as a system in the ground?
What
we
about
are doing this study,
go ahead.
And we are aiming to finalize it before the year end this year, so around November, December. And of course, the study will entail all the supply chain and all the enabling policies, regulations, incentives, R&D expertise that is required, and many other areas.
Okay.
So that's basically where we stand.
All right. What about storage, Dr. Abdullah?
Storage for hydrogen is an interesting subject, and I mean it. Hydrogen can be stored if you convert it to many products.
Okay.
One of them is, for example, ammonia, I said. Second way is to store it and convert it to electricity. Third way is to store it in the underground. So, for example, in caves or places under the ground. And of course, just like natural gas, one way to manage the hydrogen is produce it just in time.
Right.
So the same way we produce the gas and use it for electricity, for example, generation,
yes,
we could do the same for hydrogen.
Okay. So let's say we're using, somewhere down the road, we're using hydrogen for electricity.
Yeah.
Does that bring the cost down?
It should, because, the whole technology for the hydrogen production is going down steeply.
Okay.
The same way, for example, if I take you back 5 years back, we were talking about renewables, and it was expensive in a way to put solar panels and produce electricity from renewables.
Right.
Now it's in the money. It's cheaper than gas now.
Okay.
So the same way, we stand with hydrogen. The cost is going down so steeply, and it should be, very cheap within the next 3 to 4 years.
Wonderful. Now, I'm not the expert here, so if you feel I've missed out on anything, please feel free to add it.
Thank you. So, as a closing remarks, is hydrogen. I'm so excited about hydrogen. I think it's the new oil and gas.
Okay.
We're not substituting the oil and gas here, but it's something that would add up to the economic structure of Oman, diversify that portfolio, of course, bring new opportunities, and the scale of it is humongous. I told you it's 2% of Oman's land, and we have lots of land.
Yes.
And the interesting part of hydrogen is just put the solar panels where people do not stay. So somewhere in Wusta, in Duqm, and it can be managed very easily in that area. It can be exported very easily because we have a Duqm port that is accessible to the international markets. I see it as the new oil and gas, and I see it as an opportunity, for Oman.
Wonderful. It's been great talking to you, Dr. Abdullah. We wish you and the team every success.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have been talking with the Executive Director, Ijad, Dr. Abdullah Al Abri, and it's all about Oman Hydrogen Economy Strategy, Oman's emerging economic lighthouse. So we hope that comes into fruition pretty soon, because as you can see, it will make life so much easier, as you heard Dr. Abdullah say, bring down costs in different areas as well. And that's what we're looking for. 3:40 on the clock, June with you on the afternoon buzz on the Nation.